What is up, Bulldog Nation? Thank you for coming back again this week and giving us a listen and checking us out. We have an icon of Sikeston with us today. This is going to be a special episode for us. Mike, I think it's very important that we not only recognize what we are now and where we're going, but I think it's also important to recognize what we've done in the past and some of those people that we have stood on the shoulders of, and we
that
need
laid
to.
The foundation.
They laid the foundation. Correct, of where we are, and Mr. Roger Sherman is one of those folks, and it is only fitting for us to do that. And so we are honored to have him as a guest.
Yes. I'm Micah Harris.
I'm Matt Tanner. Thank you guys for listening. We are so excited about having Mr. Sherman on. This is episode 73, season 2, episode 32 of season 2. And before we get very far along, let's give a shout out to our partners, Mercy Phoenix, our healthcare staffing solution experts, not just EMT and EMS. They are LPNs, RNs, all of the alphabet soup of healthcare staffing. They have them. And again, not only can they provide that solution, but they can also provide you a job. And they are fairly lucrative jobs. And if you follow our Facebook page or if you follow Mercy Phoenix's page, they post those jobs fairly frequently. You can reach out to them at mercyphoenix.com or on their Facebook page if you have more questions about using their services or going to work for them. Also, don't forget about our other partner, Green Grass Guys, Mr. D. Bizzle, Mr. David Bizzle. What a terrific partner that they are. We had Mr. D on last week, talked about his family's history in Sikeston, D's contributions to helping our community remain strong and remain vital for years to come.
Very educational.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely it is. And we're proud to have them. And as we knew, but as we talked with D, we knew that our values aligned with their values and what they try to do to help our city. And so we're so thankful that they align, and we're honored that they're a partner, and we're honored that Mercy Phoenix is a partner too with Jody Cheney and Tucker Cheney and their whole family. We are just honored and humbled that they are partners with us. Also, our newest addition to our partnership lineup is the Bunker Golf 365. Andrew McDowell and Brandon Copeland, they have the golf simulator location in the shopping center, actually behind the bank where I work, just next door to Buffalo Wild Wings. If you're looking at Buffalo Wild Wings, it's to the left. They have all different levels
between Buffalo and Rock and Roll Sushi, right?
Yes, that's correct. That is correct. It is really slick, man. You can sign up for a membership, or you can do it, pay as you go kind of thing. When you go in and you use their app and they get a code, because there's typically not anybody in there working. You go in, it gives you a code to the door, you open up, you go in, you're there 30 minutes, an hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever. And you turn it on, it's all, you learn how to do that. I mean, you just basically like hit the keyboard and it comes on. It's really slick. It's TrackMan technology, which is the absolute Cadillac. That's what all the tours use, is TrackMan. And you hit into a screen and it shows you where your ball, would go. All those things. It's terrific. And you can use all the data. I geek out on that stuff, kind of like D geeks out with the some of the turf technology. I geek out with this. The speed of the ball off the club, your club head speed, the angle, the rotation of the ball, the curvature, spin rate, all kinds of things on there. So it's really cool. So again, we're proud that they're partners with us, and we hope you continue to patronize those folks that are willing to be partners with us, and we're very proud to have all of them as partners. Run over our shout outs real quick. Shout out to Luke. Luke gets a week off this week since we're doing this on our Riverside app. He doesn't have to do any graphics, but that's okay. Also, shout out to my wife, Erin. She's upstairs. She's allowing me to be down here right now for a little while, and shout out to her. Shout out to Justin, our general nuisance, general counsel. Again, the aforementioned Tucker Cheney for his help with our video editing. Shout out to Derek James, Brian James for all their history, their knowledge, sports history, Bulldog history, Southeast Missouri sports history, all those things. Shout out Tyler Anderson, who actually saw Tyler today at lunch. Tyler's and his company, Twisted Arrow Woodworking, and can't see it right now, but we have that cool sign on the wall. And Micah, you said you wanted to give a shout out.
I do. I ran into a loyal listener the other morning going to Rhodes, grabbed my breakfast. Cheney Corlew stopped me and told me that she enjoys listening and listens regularly. I think we've mentioned her a few times on here as well.
We have.
I want to thank her for being a loyal listener and thank you for recognizing us and we appreciate that. Also,
Absolutely.
recognize my wife. Right now, I think she's out looking at things, a house, I think.
Oh Lord.
Anyway, I don't know about that, but we're happy where we're at. We're not moving by any means.
Yeah.
But anyway, she's giving me time to do this.
Right. That's what I meant as well with my wife too. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Becky, and thanks, Cheney. Thanks for being a loyal listener. We appreciate it very much. Catch all of our podcasts like, follow, and share our podcast and our pages on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. And please like, follow, and share. It's very important for us. It helps us sustain and know that what we're doing is beneficial. Thank you for listening. Thank you for liking, for reviewing, sharing the page, making comments, all those things. And you can catch our podcast on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, iHeartRadio. You can also catch it on our own website at thedoghouse.buzzsprout.com. We have an embedded player on there. You can catch all of our episodes, our previous episodes, and our current episodes on those. And you can catch our video podcast of what we're doing right now. And the previous ones, I forget where I actually started doing the videos. It's probably running on close to a year now. I can't recall. Maybe not quite that long. But all those are on YouTube. So you can go back and watch them, and you'll be able to watch this one as well. If you are interested in partnering with us, please let us know. We're always open to that. One thing to add, you can reach us on our email address at doghouse.sikeston@gmail.com. Please reach out to us, send us an email, mention us on send us anything you want to talk about. We'll be happy to do it. And we have some T-shirts now available, still available. And if you need to reach out to us, please do so. And Micah, it's about time. We're going to move on to our guest. Unless you got anything we need to cover,
I think we're good.
We're good. Just hang with us through this short break, and we'll be right back with the main guest for this week. Hey, thanks for sticking with us through the break. We are moving on, Micah, to our. Well, as we talked about earlier, we're just honored to have Mr. Sherman with us. Mr. Roger Sherman he's an icon of Sikeston. We've talked about this before, and we are very honored for him to take a few minutes and spend some time with us and tell us some stories that we might have heard and maybe some we haven't heard and maybe some we shouldn't even hear. But well, that'd be okay. If we need to edit some out, Mr. Sherman, we'll edit some out. That's no problem. All right. But we're looking forward to it. All right, so let's get to it. I'm going to introduce our guest. Today's episode is a little bit different. This is an opportunity for us to preserve our history. Our guest, Mr. Sherman, has spent over 7 decades serving others as a Navy veteran, educator, coach, principal, community leader, husband, father, grandfather, and one of Sikeston's greatest ambassadors. Today we're going to slow things down and simply listen because stories like these deserve to be preserved for future generations. We're honored to welcome a true servant leader and a Sikeston legend, Mr. Roger Sherman, to the Doghouse.
Welcome to the Doghouse.
Sure happy to be here.
Yes, sir. I'm in the doghouse a lot, Mr. Sherman. I'll tell you,
We had when I came here, we had a doghouse down on the football field. That's what we called.
that's yes, sir. That's where we came up with this name of this podcast. That's exactly why it's named that.
Is that right?
Yes,
That,
sir. I had PE in there, and it smelled like a doghouse too. Woo wee!
well, you have about 80 kids in there, or men in there, boys. It's that way, and in the hot summertime when we start, there'd be some odors that you couldn't hardly stand when you come back in, but you're so tired it didn't matter.
No, no, you got out of the sun and got in a little bit of shade for the moment. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So, Mr. Sherman, tell us. You grew up, or you were born in Catron, and you went to Lilbourn High School. Is that correct?
That's true. I did. I did.
Okay.
Catherine, I used to tell people I come from the city. When I come to Sikeston, I said, I come from the city, and so I have to come to the country. What city did you come from? I said, I'm from Catherine. Where is that? I said, well, it's between Parma and Lilburn. Well, where
That's
is
right.
that? Yes,
That's
I did. And we'd come
Somewhere
yes.
in New Madrid County.
when I was growing up. We'd come to Sikeston probably once a month on Saturday. It was always funny to me. It's funny to me now. My dad would park in front of Buckner Ragsdale, and there was a dime store right beside it. He'd go in and get him a drink, a Coke or something like that, and a magazine. And mother and the four of us, I had two brothers and a sister. We'd walk the streets with mother, and that was my introduction to Sikeston. So
Now,
that's
you're there's a Mr. Sherman that's involved with New Madrid School. Is that a relation to you? Is that your brother or
no,
no?
no. Now, Mr. Sherman with the New Madrid School was my dad. He was uh, president of the Board of Education in
Yeah.
Lilbourn for, gosh, 20, 25 years.
Oh, no, they call him Colonel Sherman. I didn't know if you were related to him or
Oh,
not.
we're related. He's a nice
Oh,
fellow. I know him.
yes, he is. Yes, he
Yeah,
is. He's a
but
very nice, and he's been down there a long time too.
yeah, he's been there probably 12, 15 years. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
he's a good man.
So, yes, he is. Yes, he is. So, what year did you graduate from high school? From Lilburn High School, is that right?
Lilburn High School, 1951, when Buck
Okay.
finished the CMO and the Navy, well, the military, there was Korean War was going on,
Mm-hmm.
and they'd run out of draftees, and so Mr. Twitty, Lynn Twitty, you've heard of him. Mr. Twitty was
Mm-hmm.
superintendent here later. He was our superintendent. He's also a retired colonel in the Marines. He got
I
a
did
couple.
not know that.
Yes, we got a couple of us. He got us in the CB reserves. We went to boot camp at Chicago, at Great Lakes, really,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how our Navy career started.
My
Really?
dad
Now,
was a
how?
CB.
Pardon?
My dad was a CB in
Oh,
the
is that right?
Vietnam War.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Well, it was, the Navy was good to me. I enjoyed it. Now, it's hard work sometimes and different kind of work, but went to radar school, saw a lot of things that you wouldn't see if you're in Catron.
Understand.
I spent uh, I spent 5 weeks, I believe it's 5 weeks in Washington D.C. It's a Naval Research Lab after I
Oh, really?
graduated radar school. Then went aboard ship, and that was it. The Navy, and I had a good
Were
time with it.
yeah? Were you active duty in the Navy?
Yes, for 2 years. I was on a
Okay.
radar picket ship, ran the dew line. That's what they called it. That's what I remember them calling it, protecting the coast. That's what we did, and we'd be in and out of there. We'd be out to sea, say, for 15 days, come in and get everything together, and then we'd go back out and relieve another one. But that's the way it was in those days. I got to see
Mm-hmm.
New York, got to see Boston. Country boy coming to town to those cities, that was something.
Yes, I agree with you. Yes, it is. What? How was it? Just like you said, a country boy coming to town. Did you go like to Korea or were you just in the active during the war?
I was on the radar picket ship,
Yeah.
top heavy. It was a small ship, DER, I believe. I can't remember exactly, but it was a small ship, and I believe that ship would have rocked in the Mississippi River with a little wind. It was that heavy. It was that heavy, top heavy. But that was life in the slow lane. That's what we
Yeah.
did. It
Okay.
was a good experience for me.
My dad, and I bet you have a very similar um, comment. My dad said that my dad got drafted into Vietnam, and he said that when he went in, I think he was 18 or 19, and he said, I went in a kid, but I came out a man.
That's
Is that
exactly right. That's exactly right. He might have been in Vietnam, and that
he
even made
was?
him a man.
Yes,
I
sir,
was
he was.
I was not in Korea, but I was on a ship. But you're right. You learn a lot. Sometimes well, I don't say you forget it, but you don't really realize that there are other ways of life that you have to look at and determine what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. I think the military was good for me from a maturity standpoint, and I
Hmm.
learned a lot about people. I think maybe
Hmm.
they learned a lot about me too. I don't know.
No, that you said that's exactly what my dad told me. And as a matter of fact, when I got out of high school, my dad told me, he said, if you don't want to go to college or you can't go or we can't afford it or whatever, he highly recommended the military. And
Experience.
yes, yes. What were some of the things that you learned in there? You talked about learning some things. What do you think you learned there?
You know, when you come from a small town like I did, you knew everyone, and
Right.
you knew who to talk to, how to talk, and all that. In there, you were with people from all over the country, and they had different ideas, different thoughts, and you had to kind of wash them out, decide what you could do and what you couldn't do. And I think it just matures you, makes you associate with people from all walks of life. Uh, in fact, I was in boot camp, as I remember, with from California. And of course, I'm bald headed now, but in those days I had a little hair. But I remember those dudes coming in with the long hair and the parted tails and all that. But I had some good friends.
Mm-hmm.
They did.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It, it was a good experience for me.
So were you just in there 2 years or were you four?
I was in there 2 years.
Okay.
When I joined the reserves, uh, when I joined the reserves, and I had to be in there 8 years in the reserves. But that was
Okay.
2 years. I had required two of that had to be military, and I was proud I did it. I was proud.
Yes.
It helped me in a lot of ways, and they also helped me pay for my college, which wasn't bad either. And
That's exactly right.
yes, sir,
Yep.
the military was good to me.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
tell you what, you just stop and think, and you look around. This is a good country.
Yes,
People
sir.
forget sometimes some of the things that we have, but you see people from other countries sometimes that have a lot more problems than we do. But anyway, that's life and sport life.
Yeah.
Well, a
No.
good
Yes,
example of
sir.
that right now is the World Cup coming. People coming from all over the world to hear and what they're experiencing, and they're seeing America for the first time and realizing what we do have. I hopefully if anything happens over the next month during this time is people realize how blessed we are to be here. You know,
Yes, I think
and
that's a good statement. How blessed we are to be here. You
Yes.
know,
Yes, we are.
it's a good country. And I tell you something
Yep.
else. I think this is a good town, good
Yeah.
community,
Yes,
schools.
sir.
Of course, I'm
Yes, sir.
biased about that,
I am too, Mr. Sherman.
but that's just the way it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you. And that's what Micah and I want to do is promote what we feel like we have here because we think it's special and we're blessed to be part of it. And so that's what we're doing with this. And we talked about it right before we got to your part, but you are one of the folks that laid the foundation to where we are today. And that's one we're here to honor you and thank you for that. That's a big part of what we did. Yeah.
I thank everyone for letting me be here. Thank my wife. She was
Yes.
finest lady that, well, that's enough. But see,
Yeah.
she came to the big city too. She came from New Madrid.
Oh, two big city folks.
But we came back. I taught 1 year at Matthews, 1 year at Farmington. Farmington, they tried to get me to sign a contract before I came to teachers meeting, but I said, no, I'm coming back, I think, but I don't want to do that. Well, I walked in the teachers meeting up there for the big meeting, and Coach Knox was standing there. I played football for him. I wasn't that good, but I played. I was out there in scrimmage bait. But anyway, Coach grabbed me and he said, Mr. Twitty's hunting you. He wants to see you. Of course, I'd known him all my life. He and my dad were good friends. He and my
Oh,
dad and his dad were good friends.
okay.
So I walked up the steps and ran into him, and he said, "Come in here a minute." We walked in Knox's office and talked a few minutes. And I talked with Mr. Keeney, Harold Keeney, and Bill Sapp on the way out back to New Madrid, where we were spending the night. And I told him I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I didn't. But we wound up. I come back to New Madrid. I mean, to New Madrid the next weekend. Laura and I did. She told me to do what I wanted to do. But just as I was getting ready to go, she told me, said, "Hey, Roger, you can't turn that job down." My dad had always told me that. But
Yeah.
anyway, but I was happy I came, and I coached with Bill Sapp. Bill Sapp was a great coach.
Yes,
He,
that's what I understand.
he was a great coach, and there's just two of us, and we got along well. We started school that year in 1960. First year I was here, the old high
Okay.
school there, where the Y is now.
Yes.
There, mid-year, we moved over to the new high school, and everything was going well. And Christmas time, that's when we moved to Christmas, and we started after Christmas at the new high school. We were eating lunch one day, and we got through, and we were waiting to go back to class. Kids were out in the cafeteria. We had 3 lunch periods. Teachers we had to go back to class with him, and Mr. Woody came by, talked with us a few minutes, and he said, "Well, I better go. I got to go. See you later." And he took a couple of steps, and he stopped, and he looked back. He said, "Roger, by the way, we're starting wrestling next year, and you're the coach." I said, "Well," I said, "Mr. Woody, I don't know if I can spell wrestling." He said, "You'll learn." Bye. But that
So that's how you became the coach?
became the coach. I went to 2 or 3 clinics and went to St. Louis to some guys that I knew on a Saturday, and they worked out with me. We had a good time. I did. I had a good time, and I think the kids had a pretty good time.
Yeah.
We got along pretty well, but it was a good sport. It is a good sport.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
How long were you the wrestling coach?
4 years. Mr.
Okay.
Keeney called me in. I'd been here, I guess, 4 years. Well, 5 years, because we had one fella after I left it to the assistant principalship. He was here 1 year, and he got a job in St. Louis in August. And so Mr. Twitty called and said, or came over, and he said, "I guess we'll have to suspend wrestling for a year because he's going to go and let him go." And I said, "Well, wait a minute, Mr. Keeney. Mr. Twitty, if Mr. Keeney will let me, I'll coach the wrestling team till we find a coach." So I did. I coached 1 more year.
Oh,
Mr.
okay.
Keeney called me in and asked me, um, after I'd been here 4 years, I guess, that fourth year asked me, said, "I want to talk with you." And I thought, "Oh, I've done something wrong." So I went in. We got through the pleasantries, and they asked me which I would take, the assistant principalship or the head football job. And I looked at him kind of funny, like it surprised me. I remember that. It was a shock, really. And I said, "Well, Mr. Keeney, I don't know." I said, I'd have to think about it. How long do I have? A couple of weeks. Excuse me. Okay. And so Laura and I never did anything without talking big things, without talking it over. She
Sure.
said, "Do what you want to do." And I said, well, I will. So the next day I went in, asked Mr. Key if I'd come see him. He said, yes. And I told him if I had the opportunity to choose, I'd take the assistant principalship. I said, I love coaching, but I don't want to carry those shoulder pads around all my life. And he's looked at me and kind of grinned. I remember that. Of course, you didn't know Mr. Keeney, did you?
I did not know.
He kind of, well, he looked at me and kind of grinned. He said, that's what I thought. But Coach Sapp and Mr. Twitty thought you'd take the head football. And I said, no, I probably wouldn't turn that down if that's the only offer I had. And I'm glad I did. And I enjoyed it. It's good to me. This town's been good to me and to my family. Of course, I had a good wife, and we had 7 children. She had 8, because she had me.
That's exactly right.
It's a good town.
Yes, sir.
We've done a lot of things here. I became principal 2 years later. Assistant principal 2 years, and then principal. And we were adding on every year, I think. Every year we added on. And it was a challenge. Had some great teachers. Man, we had some great teachers. They all worked together and didn't chew on me too much, so it was good.
Now, you became head principal what year?
I think it was 1965.
Okay, so was that about the time like the Pridays came here and the Sullivans and
A couple of years later.
okay.
A couple of years later. Friday came, maybe it's 4 years later. I can't remember. Touchdowns, Terry Smith, coach for us for 2 or 3 years, I guess.
I think that's right.
And then I had one that didn't work out too well. But anyway, then Friday called me. See, Friday and I were good friends in college. I knew Friday pretty well.
Okay.
And Friday had moved from me. He grew up in Fredericktown.
Mm-hmm.
And he coached there. He coached in Festus. And
Mm-hmm.
he called me one day, and I was right in the middle of a meeting. And I said, Bill, I'll call you back. So I did, called him back. He came down, interviewed, talked with me, and talked with Coach Sapp. I believe that's all the ones he talked to. And we hired him, and Bill just settled down here, and he was a great asset, in my view, a great asset to this community.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Couldn't agree with you more. Yes, he and his whole family.
He had a whole family, yes, it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
He's still got family here.
yeah, he has, yes, he has.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, I was with Bill the day he died.
Oh my gosh.
I was over there, and I guess maybe the last one to talk with him. I almost broke down. Well, I did break down. We were good friends. Good friends.
Yes, I know you were.
We got a lot of good people in this town.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we had Coach Vic on. Is that where you're going, Micah?
That's where I wanted to go, but I wasn't making all the connections, but I thought he was involved in the hiring of Coach Vic.
Yeah.
And I'd like to hear his side of the story, because we heard what Coach Vic said. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, and I know he was telling the truth, but I'd love to hear your perspective.
We interviewed him. It's kind of funny how that all started out with interviewing and hiring. Mr. Twitty came over one day, and I'm going to break off for just a minute. Mr. Twitty came over one day, and I'd been principal probably 3 or 4 years, and he said, Roger, I'm tired of chasing teachers. You're on your own. I said, well, can Ernie go with me? Ernie Elledge. I don't know if you remember him or knew him.
I don't.
He was the junior high principal. He said, well, yeah, if you got vacancies or if you need somebody with you. But anyway, that's how that started. Well, yeah, with Vic, we interviewed Vickery. And after the interviews and looking it all over, I called Vic and he told me, well, Mr. Sherman, I just don't believe I want to come to Sikeston. I said, oh, it kind of shocked me, to be frank with you. So I said, well, okay, that's all right. If you don't want to come, I don't want you, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what to say. But anyway, I went down. I told Harbin, I said, Sam, I just had a crazy call, and he said, "What you gonna do?" I said, "I don't know. I had to think about that." Well, it wasn't 10 minutes till I got a call from one of his buddies up at Chaffee that I knew pretty well, and he said, "Roger, have you hired anybody? Have you done anything well know about the football?" I said, "No, haven't." I said, "I haven't had time to do anything." And he says, "Vickery just told me what he did." And he said, "Look, would you hire him if he'd call you back?" I said, "Well, might." And that's the way I think I left it. Well, in a little bit, Vic called and we hired him, and never sorry.
Right.
Vic, he was a good man. He was a good man then. The only thing that bothered me about it when I first saw him, he wasn't very big, and I thought, man, he's more of a kid than he is a man, but he wasn't. He did a good job.
Mm-hmm.
He was
Mm-hmm.
a teacher, and that's the thing that we had to. It's like I had a couple guys come in with their sleeves rolled up a little bit, and big dogs at the watering trough. That wasn't what we needed. We needed a teacher that was a good coach and could handle
Mm-hmm.
kids, and that's.
Mm-hmm.
I still believe that's most important. Activities, in my view, now I'm getting into philosophy, and I shouldn't do that.
No,
Oh, this is
no.
perfect. Perfect.
And in my view, activities are just as important as the academic part in a different way, but they're just as
Mm-hmm.
important. That's
Mm-hmm.
like I've had guys ask me or tell me that I encouraged them to go into athletics or go into something, and I did. I had a guy, I won't call his name, he's about 6'3", 6'4", and he said, he telling his wife, said, Mr. Sherman talked me into going out for baseball. Said he really didn't talk me into it. He just said something to me one day and I said, well, I'd really like to play baseball, but I'm afraid. Well, why are you afraid? And we talked. But I always felt that way, whether it's music, drama, whatever. That's just as important in its own way.
Yes.
You have to get along with people. Some of them find that
Yes.
out too late.
Yes, sir. And that's exactly right. We've talked about that on here before too, is that the football player, to them, that's very important. But the kid that's in band or choir or orchestra or drama, that's as important to them as football is to the football player. And those things, you learn a lot of lessons that aren't necessarily taught in the classroom by being part of a team.
Exactly right. You sure do.
Well, you learn to deal.
Pardon?
You learn to deal with difficult people.
Yes. Yes, it is. You have to give and take. And some
Mm-hmm.
people do that, but you got to do it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I understand you were with the school system for 36 years. Does that sound about right?
Yes, sir. That is right.
Okay.
Sure. And then
Okay.
the next year after I retired, Buck called me. He was at SEMO. Bob Buchanan called me, and he said, "We want you to take the higher ed center, get combined SEMO and Three Rivers."
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Bob, I'm retired." "No, you're not. You got to do that." And but I did. I did do that, and that was good.
I didn't recall that. Okay.
Yeah, and we started down in the old Montgomery Bank. It wasn't. It was what they call. That's where I did business. What was it? It was no.
U.S.
It was Montgomery's Bank, but we
Yeah.
called it National, didn't we? Or National.
Oh, yeah. First National. Yeah, that's right. Yes, sir.
That's where we started that higher ed center, and
Yeah.
we had Three Rivers there, and we had SEMO there.
Yes.
They moved the furniture in for us the day of our first class. We had.
Oh, gosh.
But went to all the schools before we got there, trying to recruit kids, and we got them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's been
So
to our community, I think.
I couldn't agree more. Yes, sir. So what year you retired from the school system, and what year?
96.
Okay. Okay. Okay, 96. But you retired from central office at that point, correct?
Yes, I was out of I left the day I retired. They wouldn't let me leave central office till I come by that day. And they had a cake and stuff and all that. You know how that is. I was leaving.
Uh-huh.
Going to meet my kids over to Lake of the Ozarks.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah, I
But
retired.
you were director of secondary, you were over secondary education at that point?
Yes, sir. I had
Okay.
when I was principal. The last 3 or 4 years I was principal, I was they appointed me director of secondary education, and uh, I really wasn't crazy about leaving the principalship, and they told me I didn't have to, just whenever I wanted to. And my oldest son, we moved a freshman over at mid-year.
Yeah.
And that was the last year I taught over there. I stayed over there. I thought, man, that my kids don't need me in this administrative position. And so I moved over to central office. In fact, I had the first office. I was the first one to move in to what's our central office now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it wasn't finished when I moved in. Not Davine, but Linda Manley moved a lot of my papers and stuff over there. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, so who was superintendent when you retired? 96. Who was
Bob
that?
Buchanan.
Okay. He was still there. Okay.
Still
Okay.
there. When I told him, he came back one day, and Laura and I had gone to the retirement meetings 3 years in a row, just to kind of see where we were. We hated to jump off the ship on something, wanted to know. Bob came back one day and he said, "Now, Roger," said, "we got an evaluation coming up here in about 3 years. What you going to do? Have you thought about how you're going to handle that?" And I said, "Yeah, I do. This is in October." I said, "Bob, I'm going to go one more year and then I'm quitting." "Oh, no, you're going 2 more." "No, I'm leaving." And I did.
Yeah.
But, that's just the way it was. And
Yeah. Now,
we,
now, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
uh, we had a lot of things that we had to do and did them. I think most of the time did them pretty well.
Yes, sir. Now, I understand. So you were principal, I think, of the high school when the field house was built. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So
That
you
that was a
tell
funny
tell
time. You didn't know
tell it.
you didn't know Mr. Twitty, did you?
I think I met him one time.
He was superintendent, and I'd go down to that field house every day. I walked the campus when I was principal. I walked that campus 2 or 3 times a day. I just did. In the wintertime, I'd go out there, try to get there by 7 o'clock or maybe 7:15 at the latest. Be sure we were warm. Well, I'd go in that field house, and man, they weren't moving very fast. They were just things weren't going well. Mr. Twitty went down there one day. He came to my office, mad as an old wet hen. He said, "Roger, those so and so's, they're not working. They're not doing anything." I said, "Well, know that, Mr. Twitty." He said, "Well, it's awful." I said, "Well, let me tell you something. You don't go down there anymore. You just let me be there and get scolded and all that, but just don't go down there." Of course, I could say that to him because we had known each other. He was my boxing coach in high school.
Oh,
But anyway, about 2 weeks later, it all changed. The company went broke.
oh no.
Moved in, and it was a dandy. I bet his arms were as big as my legs, my thighs. Nice guy, come up and eat lunch with us occasionally. But down there, he was tough as nails. I think he threw a couple people out, just picked them up and tossed them out. But anyway, he took it over. And then from then on, it was nice. Everything went well.
Really? So that's why they were slow because they were having trouble paying the bills. Sounds like.
I guess I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
They went broke, and that was it.
I didn't. I didn't know that. I did not know that.
Well,
So at that time, did you play basketball at the Armory? Is that where
Yes.
they were playing? Okay. I knew that was.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was there or at the old gym at the old high school?
No, we played in the Armory, and we'd fill that place up just
Mm.
every night.
Mm-hmm.
I've even
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
had to take a couple of people out of there. I wasn't principal then, but I had to take a couple of people out of there because they'd maybe drank too much soda as they came in.
That's probably what happened.
Yeah. Oh, maybe. But listen, and the town was good to us. They were
Mm-hmm.
good to
Mm-hmm.
us.
Mm-hmm.
They, yeah.
Where
Oh,
did where did they play football? Had they at that time when the field house was built? Had they moved over to the football field now, or were they still playing at the old high school?
no, we didn't play. We didn't. We practiced at the, as I remember, we practiced when first year I was here. We practiced at the new football field and played our
Oh,
games there. Yeah,
oh, okay,
yeah,
okay, okay.
that's right. Yeah, hadn't thought about that, but no, we were at the new football field. Yeah, that was. They were building the track too. See, they built a track and
Yeah,
had the concrete, not the gravel.
the
Uh,
cinders, those black cinders. I remember those.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Oh, those were days. Had a
you
lot
didn't
of
want to fall. Yes, sir. You didn't want to fall down on those cinders
fun.
running. I can tell you, I'd done it before, and I wasn't too happy with it
Oh
when I did
no.
it.
I think about a lot of those things in those days. I was the only coach, only track coach when I was coaching. And well, the first year I was here, the head coach had been here, and he left at the end of that first year. But he never came over to the track uh, because he kept the weight. See, we had a world class shot putter in the woods. You've heard of
Yep.
them. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
They were good athletes, but they worked over to the old high school because that's junior high at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember a lot of things about that. I remember one day we were out there and I signed had someone in charge of the sprinters, milers, the distance people. Just we had to do that to kind of organize them and keep them around. And I saw a mess going on at the things weren't doing very well at the pole vault pit. Walked over there and they couldn't jump that. They were just having trouble. I said, I can jump that. That's when the dummy talks. But anyway, I did jump it. They
Did you
all
really?
they all gathered, and this is the truth. They all gathered, and but then they lied a little later. They said he jumped 9'6". I jumped 7 feet.
Well, the story gets better as it goes on.
But it was funny. But we had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun
Yeah.
coaching and a lot of fun teaching.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I keep saying this. We had a heck of a faculty, and they were good.
Yes. Yes. A lot of good folks there.
Murray Sullivan,
Oh, oh,
Ms. Matthews. No, they were gone. Some of them were gone by that time. Ms.
oh
Matthews,
yeah.
Ms. Rivera, gosh, and again, they took care of me.
Yes. Yes. Now, let me go back just a minute. When they offered you the assistant principal, was Coach Sapp the head coach? Was he leaving? Is that what
No,
they were?
no, and I don't think he wanted out of coaching. I don't know.
Oh,
I,
okay.
I don't know that he did. I don't know that he didn't. But he said that if I had a choice, that's what Mr. Keeney told me. That he and Sappin, Sappin told he thought I'd take the head football job. Well, I wouldn't take that.
Yeah.
Bill
Yeah, I
Sappin,
think you.
he was a good coach. And
Yes,
they
sir.
had before him, a fellow by the name of Knox.
So, Mr. Sherman, today I had the opportunity to talk to Mike Bartlett. Do you know Mike?
Who?
Mike Bartlett.
Yes, I know that. Yes.
And so he told me Mike graduated, he said, in 54 from here. And
Hmm.
he knew Coach Knox and he played for Coach Sapp as well. But he started talking about that because he said in 50 he graduated in 54, but he was on the team that broke the winning streak. They were 9-1 his senior year. He said, I guess it would have been the fall of 53, graduated in 54. But he talked about both of them, and that he told me. What did he tell me about Coach Knox? Did he go to a college after? Let's see, where'd he go?
He went to SEMO. Coached
Yeah.
at SEMO for years.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, he was a heck of a coach. He was a good
Yes,
man.
sir.
He was
Yes,
a good
sir.
teacher too.
Okay. Well, heck,
Go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, heck, when you guys hired Vic, he was what, 77 or 78, something like that.
78, wasn't it?
No,
I think that's right.
yeah, it may have been
Somewhere right in there. But he coached till 2001 or 02 or something like that.
I think that's right. I
Yeah.
think that's one or 02, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Kind of funny. I think he's the one that wrote me the letter after getting ready to retire. Said, "You're gone now," or something like that, and said it's time for me to go. I think he's one that wrote me a letter, nice letter, thank you note. Oh, he was a good man. He is a good man.
Yes.
I
Yes.
asked him a little, but that's all right.
He deserved it probably.
He does. He does. He does.
He was just coaching last year.
Oh
You knew-
yeah. Listen, he did a good job at everything
Yes.
he did. I never had
Yes.
never had a problem
Yes.
with him.
No, that's right. That's right.
We're lucky. We're lucky.
So
Yeah,
after you were principal, was that Mr. Priday that became principal after you? I was trying to remember.
Did Bob
Oh,
Buchanan.
okay.
Yeah, I hired Bob. That's kind of funny the way his worked out. In those days, they didn't go before the board. You know, we just
Oh.
we signed a contract, and Buck. I interviewed him in the hallway, and he told that he's going to get with me on it, and he tell me about that one day in the crowd, and I said, "Yeah, that's." Said, "Did you not have a North Central evaluation about 3 months before that, before you came to talk with me?" "Well, yeah." "Did you know who was on that committee?" "Well, I guess you were." I said, there was two guys that I would have hired if I had a vacancy. You and another fellow. I hired him. But there's one man over there I'd have hired before all of you. And he looked at me and he said, "Who was it?" And I told him I can't think of his name now. But anyway, I said, "I was on that North Central committee and I saw everything you guys did. Even some of the hassling you did to Dynamite Cope, Al Cope." He looked at me and he shut up.
Were you? So how did it work out that you hired him and then he became the boss?
Well, he did a good job. He did a good job.
Yeah.
And that's, that was all right. That's all right.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think I ever applied for it. I don't believe I did.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, I got scolded by the Mizzou, the head of the administrative department at Mizzou. They called me one day. He did. I got to know those people pretty well on several committees. But he called me and he said, "Roger, there's a big school in St. Louis that they've asked us for a recommendation for principal." He said, "We've talked it over and you're the one we want to go." And I was probably 36, 37 years old. And I told him, I said, "I can't do that." "What do you mean?" I said, "I'm not about to take my kids to the city. I may have to, but I'm not about to take my kids to the city." And we had a meeting a couple of weeks, maybe a month later, and he wanted to talk with me privately. He said, "Why would you not take a job?" I told him, I said, "I'm a country boy. And I want my kids to be raised where we can all associate." And that's the way I was. I had several opportunities to do some things, but this is too good a town for me.
I feel the same way, Mr. Sherman. I've had opportunities as well, and I'm like you. At some point, I may have to do that, but that's not. It'll be because I have to, not because I want to.
Well,
I, I,
that's the way I always felt. I, I've been asked several times about different things, and I told them, I said, I heard about a 7 word statement in an English class at SEMO. And I said, it was I think it came from Shakespeare. And the old professor up there he was still hollering. I had him at 8. The guys told me he's still hollering Sherman at 10. But anyway, there was a phrase in there that I still think about that I always had to kind of deal with. To thine own self be true. And that's what you
yeah,
have to do in my view.
yeah. No, you're right. You're absolutely right. So, even though you were from New Madrid area, Catherine, Lilbourn, whatever, what about Sikeston, or when did you decide that this is kind of where we want to be? What made you think that?
Well, see, my mother and dad lived at Catherine. Dad was a farmer, and my wife's mother and dad lived in New Madrid. He owned the Ford agency down there, and they had some years on them. And this was close to home, and I knew the town a little bit, and it's close to some of my friends that I grew up with. And I just thought it'd be fine. Didn't want to be in the same. They called me about the New Madrid job, not when it was in New Madrid, not all 4 of them together, 5. Uh, I knew I didn't need that. I was probably 30 years old. But anyway, I thought it'd be best for us to be close, and as it turned out, it was best for us to be close. We had to help both families, and it was good
Yeah,
for us,
yeah,
and it's good
yeah.
for our kids.
Yes, yes. I agree with you. I feel the same about raising my kid here and our family being here and all that stuff. I'm gonna go back just a quick second. When the field house was built, that had to be unlike anything that was between St. Louis and Memphis, probably, wasn't it? Or maybe even further.
It's further than that, probably, but I tell you what, when they'd come into play, they'd stop and look at the ceiling, look this place all over, and see what. When we built that, we didn't take into it. They didn't take into account. I say we didn't, or they didn't. The acoustics in there, and the acoustics weren't very good. But other than that, and the floor, we had an insulite floor. We had indoor track. We even had a
Mhm.
couple of circuses. We had a couple of circuses in there with elephants, the whole business.
Oh my gosh,
Oh
I don't
wow.
remember that.
Well, we did. We did. We were out there watching them practice, get set up, and all that. But then when we redid the field house, changed the floor
Hmm.
and bleachers a little bit too, and see they could move all the bleachers out. And where the wrestling rooms are now, they that's where we stored the lockers. But when we had the circus there, that's where they put the animals in there. So
How'd they get the elephants in there? Is what I want. I mean, like I know there's some big doors, but
yeah, but we got them in. They got them in some way because we had them.
Had to grease them up real good and shove them through the door. Sound like to me.
I believe we did. I don't think I'm exaggerating. I think we had a couple of elephants. I believe we did.
They probably came in those big doors over at the side, kind of by the wrestling room. Those big
They did.
overhead doors.
yeah,
I'm
Yeah,
sure
yeah.
we
yeah,
had sports there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that might. I don't think about how big those doors are, but I mean, I know I've seen them open, but man, it's
yeah.
yeah.
Well, see,
the field house is.
when we run a dash, we'd have to let them run out through the doors there.
Yeah.
The finish line was just a little before, but they still had doors open.
Couldn't get stopped quick enough.
But it was something. We sure had a.
S-
But
So that field house has held a little bit of everything. Then track meets,
yes,
circus,
at one time
concerts.
we had a little of everything. Yeah, we had concerts in there, and with New York. I mean, the St. Louis Symphony was going to come down. Keith Collins, you
hmm
remember? Or maybe he was still around. Keith.
Yes. Yes.
Now I'm talking about the dad. He was the band director.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Mr. Collins. Uh-huh.
He director came down to look at the field house, and I was with them walking through, and I know nothing about music. That's being nice. But anyway, I made the comment. I said, the acoustics not very good in here. The man looked at me and he said, "Don't you think we know how to handle that?" I said, "Yes, sir." Well, Keith kidded me about that later. He said, I thought about that, and I thought, well, I don't need to say anything to him. Yeah,
They can handle the floor. That was we called it tartan or something. It was kind of
yeah,
springy, but it wasn't a wood floor. Was that original to the field house?
yes. When
That
we that what was
kind of tan looking and
it? Greenish color.
oh yeah, that's right. It was kind of rubbery though, kind of
Yeah,
hard rubber.
yeah, it was, and it was good in a sense, but it wasn't really all that great for the teams. It was all right
Yeah,
for us because we practiced on
yeah,
it. But
yes,
you mentioned that a while ago about the kids coming in when they come there to play. Man, they'd stand and just stare at this whole thing, and it was amazing. It was
yep.
amazing. It
Mr.
still is.
Sherman, I just gonna say I can tell you this. I know last year or just this past basketball season when we played Hayti at home, someone overheard a couple of the Hayti kids. I don't guess they'd never been in the field house, and they were doing just that. They were looking around and they said, "My gosh, this is like a college arena,"
Yes,
and
it
it
is.
gave us an ultimate home court advantage, in my opinion,
In
because they
a lot of ways. Yeah.
yes they were just like
Wasn't it? Wasn't a couple years ago? Father Tolton talked about wanting to bring. They want to bring their kids down here to experience the
Yes.
field
experience
house.
the atmosphere and all that stuff. Yes, yeah, it's a big deal.
It was. It always has been. We've done well. I had a
Yes.
I had a time when I was principal. The bleacher bums came in.
Uh
I
oh.
had, I had to fight them for a while, and finally got it cleaned up a little bit. No, not a lot, but but they kidded me about it years later. Guys had kidded me about it, but
Mm-hmm.
I suspended some kids. Had to. But
Oh,
I'll say this: the community backed me.
absolutely.
They sure did.
Yes.
Community was all
Yes.
to this kid from Catherine.
The community wants our kids to certainly experience things, but they have to behave. They have
Yes,
to
sir.
there has to be discipline in the school, or you don't have anything.
Oh, you gotta have that. You gotta have discipline. And
You can't learn. You can't learn if there's not discipline.
you know Fred, don't you? Fred Johnson,
Oh yeah.
the old basketball coach.
Oh
We,
yeah.
we were playing one night. He was coaching, and I'm sitting where I usually sit right down where I sit. Not sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
I still active, and in fact, I instrumental in hiring him, I guess. But anyway, all of it, and we had a big crowd. All of a sudden, Fred hollered, "Mr. Sherman, Mr. Sherman, get him off my back." Well, that quieted everybody down. Everything was quiet. And I jumped up, ran over there. I couldn't see him at first. I said, "Shut your mouth or get out of here, one or the other." And he sat down. And I told Fred the next day, I said, "Fred, you'd get my butt whipped." Because I saw the guy looking over at me from before he got a chance to move. He said, "You see all those boys around him?" I said, "Yes." He said, "There ain't nobody in Sikeston going to get after you with those people. Those boys will take care of you." I said, "Yeah, Fred, you know how that works." But we've had, but we had, people took care of us.
Yep. Yep. That's exactly right. That's exactly
Yeah.
right. When you after you retired, I was just kind of thinking through things before we started doing this podcast. I was thinking you were involved. Was it the Kiwanis that you were involved in for the longest time?
Joined the Kiwanis Club in '63, and I'm still a member. I just don't go much anymore. I just
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
I had to quit when my wife got that Alzheimer's. I wouldn't leave her. And
Yeah.
good lady, a real good lady. She's still with me. kids wouldn't let me. I said, I don't need anybody full-time. Well, I don't have her full-time, but I didn't then. I had her 3 days. But she's a good lady, and she's helped me.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
no, I was in Kiwanis Club, still am. Served as
Yeah,
governor, served as governor of the Missouri, Arkansas. Yeah, and I was
what
involved in a lot of community activities.
I know, and you, because when you would always, you'd come to the bank and you'd be selling pancake tickets, and of course, obviously but if you came in, Mr. Sherman, it didn't matter what it was. I was like, well, Mr. Sherman's coming in. I'm gonna buy whatever he's got. That was respectful. And but you always, what'd you call yourself? You were Addie Mae, or you were taking over her job, and what you?
May was, she's the one that I was on the committee. I first committee of the like that was United Way, I believe. Addie Mae was in charge of it, and so I forget who was the chairman, but she told me, said, "Now you're taking over next year." I can't do that, Addie Mae. I got too many things going on. We were building, we're doing all these things. I can't do that. I'll serve on a committee. Yeah, but boy, she's on my back, and finally we got somebody. Charlie Matthews tried to do the same thing with me. He'd been on it 2 years. And I told him, I said, I'm not going to do that. I'll serve on the committee. I'll go out and hustle money, but I'm not going to chair it. And
Mm-hmm.
I didn't, but I was lucky.
Now wasn't Addie Mae? She, if she was out, she was dressed to the nines, right? That's what I
Yes,
recall.
she was. She was.
That's what.
She's a fine lady. She was got a
Yes.
lot of years on her, but she's a fine lady.
Yes.
We had
Yes.
we had a lot of people like that. Still do.
Yes. Yes. What led you to like get involved in those community projects? Because, like you said, you were plenty busy. It wasn't like you were looking for something to do.
Well, the big thing was that, kids, the community is responsible for the kids. And in a lot of ways, the people working with the kids have to be responsible to the community, and you have to know the community. And I always felt like that I had some good friends. Bob Meyer, I don't know if you ever knew Bob Meyer.
Uh, Fine man. I knew Mr. Bob long. My dad was in the heat and air business and did a lot of business with Mr. Bob.
See,
Yeah.
we were awful good friends. He lived down the street from me. Uh, and there was, the lumberman, I can't think of his name now. There was a lot of guys like that that I got to know.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
got to know some of them that through, excuse me, some problems that we had. That after the problems are over, we became pretty good friends.
Right.
I was trying to
Right.
call a name or two, but I better not do that. No, but we everything went well. It's a good town.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, was it your birthday like recently?
Yeah,
Just
May 31st.
okay. That's what I was going to say. I knew it was recent, and you turned 93. Is that correct?
Yes, yes, sir.
Did you go out celebrating all night long? I guess.
Oh, those days are long gone too. No, no, no. The lady I celebrated with is no longer with me. We'd do things, go places, but we weren't socialites. I
Yeah.
never have
Yeah.
been. Uh,
Yeah. No, I was just teasing you.
I know it.
You're
I know
and so you've got grandkids now, and bulldog athletes. So I guess that keeps you pretty busy as well.
it does. It does. And I'll tell you though, those two boys, Adam and Andrew, lived here and grew up here. Even in Laura's worst days, those boys walk in and her eyes would light up like a Christmas tree. She was awfully good with kids, awfully good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know how we did it. She didn't go back to working outside the house until Laura was in the third grade. We had
Is
7
that?
I don't know
Yeah.
how, but we did. She was a good manager.
I bet she ran a tight ship.
She did. She's a good lady. She's a good lady.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Yeah,
We,
that's
now, and you were on the SEMO. you were involved with SEMO for a long time after that, right? With their booster club board or something?
On the Kenny DeMint. Did you know was Papa Kenny dead by the time you came along? Kenny DeMint, the lawyer.
He was.
He was.
I knew who.
You know who he
Yeah.
was.
Yes,
Well,
sir.
he was on the board of regents, and I was probably a second or third year principal. He called me one day. He said, "Roger, we've got a meeting tomorrow night out at my office." He was on the board of regents at the college, and he said, "I want you to come." I said, "Well, for what, Kenny? Just come on. I want you there." I went. We got in there, and he had half of the athletic staff and some others there, and we met for. I was in the meeting for about an hour. We got through and then got done. "Thank you for coming, everybody." And "Roger, you stay here a minute." So I stayed there. I said, "What do you need me for?" I said, "You're on the board of regents now. I mean, not the booster board." I said, "Now,
Yeah.
Kenny, I don't have time to do that." "Yes, you do. You've got to do it." And so I did, and I was on there for probably 20 years. I don't know,
Hey.
enjoyed it, but
Wasn't Mr. Prade on there with you as well?
yeah, later years, Bill was on there. Yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he was. We Bill and I were pretty close in a lot of ways.
Yes, sir.
We did. And Murray was with us some night. He wasn't in that, but one was, and another guy. You know Blair Moran, don't you?
Oh, he's a dandy.
He's more than that, because he'd go with us in later years, places. But Blair
Yep.
taught for me a year or two. At the
Oh,
high
did he really?
school. Yeah.
I know what I meant. You were. So we have at least two people now that I know of, maybe three. You were just nominated for the Missouri Veterans Hall of Fame. Is that correct?
Yes, I installed it there, or whatever you call it. Yeah, yeah, it was quite an honor. I told him, I said, "I don't know why you." I didn't fight in any battles. Didn't. I was in the Navy for 2 years. Come home. Well, this includes all the things you did in your community in the area.
Yes.
So I guess
I think. Is it Blair in that as well?
yes, Blair and Tom.
It's
Tom.
Steve Taylor.
Steve Taylor. Steve Taylor.
Yes.
And
Yes.
Mike Harris. Mike Harris. You know Mike Harris.
I didn't realize that he's in there too. Oh, Michael Harris. Okay.
Yeah,
I saw Steve today at lunch actually. Yep.
Yeah, they're good people. They're good people.
Fine gentlemen. Set of fine gentlemen right there.
I had Harris in school. I had Blair in school. Not Blair. I didn't have Blair, but I had
You had Steve.
the lawyer. Yeah,
Yeah, Steve Taylor. Uh-huh.
I had Steve. I had a lot of those guys.
You Steve's son, Garrett. Well, I think he graduated in 95. You were still with the school system, but you were at central office at that point. Yeah.
Just about done. I had one more year.
And so how did that come about? Did someone nominate you, or how did that
I
for
don't
the
even know. Had to be somebody nominating me. But when they called me. A lady called me from Jeff City, and wanted some information. And that's when I found out that that's what it was. And
that's
I told a couple of them. I said, "Man, I don't deserve that." But anyway, that's the way it is.
well, I think you do, and I think all those people that involved they knew that as well. When do you think much about your legacy, what you've done for your family, your grandkids, and not just for your family, but for Sikeston? Do you think about that at all? Do you?
Well, I think about the participation. I don't know if I've done that much.
Oh gosh.
And I think about what I've done and what I've wondered sometimes how in the world we were able to do what we did, Laura and I. We, Mr. Twitter used to get on me about this, and this is a long time ago. When, and it's always stayed that way. I'd have a meeting, 2 or 3 or 4 hour meeting in Jeff City or Columbia. I'd wake up 4 o'clock in the morning, drive up there,
Oh my gosh.
and drive back home. Mr. Twitter get on me about that. He said, Roger, you don't need to do that. You need to spend the night up there. And I said, no, I need to come home. I need to be home. And I always felt that way. I've had the window knocked on my car there at one of those stop signs, the little waiting, rest stops when I leave Columbia or Jeff City, and the highway patrolman 2 or 3 times. Are you all right? Yes. I tell them what I did, and they said, "Oh, okay, bye." But
So you were just taking a nap there?
yeah, I would. I'd sleep 15, 20 minutes, and come on home. But that's just the way it was.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Now,
well,
that was probably the old 61 highway at that point, wasn't it?
yes, it was.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
that's their dog. Yeah, but that's yeah. But I've had a good time. I've had a good life.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
I
Yes,
really have.
sir. Yes, sir. Is there anything in your past that you've done that, and not in a bad way, that you like, man, I wish I would have, like, you regretted anything that you, like, I'm glad I didn't do that, or I wish I would have tried something else? Or are you glad that education was where you landed?
Good. The reason I went into it, as much as anything, was I liked athletics. In high school, we had softball. We started school in July, as I remember.
Oh
Mid-July,
gosh.
July, and then we'd have a 4 to 6 week cotton vacation. Then we'd come back at the end of the year. We'd have softball. Then during cotton vacation, we'd try to have practice occasionally in basketball. And I liked athletics. I did a little everything in high school, and then tried to play football in college, and then stay out and played. First 20 made sure I did that.
What did you teach when you first got here? When you went into education, what were you teaching?
I taught PE and history.
Okay.
And taught physical education. Yeah.
Wow. I wasn't sure. I couldn't recall. I thought I remember PE, but I didn't realize the world history.
Yeah. I taught world history. Doug Dawson was the basketball coach, and we swapped rooms. He taught the first 2 hours in the gym, and I taught history the first 2 hours, and then I think Sap may have taught the fourth hour, and then we swapped.
Really? Doak, you
That was.
talking about Doak, he was the golf pro at the country club for years.
Oh, he was for years. Doak tried to get me into golf when I was getting ready to retire. And I played about 12 rounds. Teachers gave me a heck of a nice set of golf clubs. And I played probably 12 rounds at the most. And I just told Doak one day, I said, Doak, I've had all this I want. I said, if I started when I was 25, I might have enjoyed it. But I said, I couldn't afford it, time nor money then. And I said, I just better quit. And wound up giving my golf clubs to one of my grandsons. So
Yep.
that's the way that
So
was. Yeah, Doak was a good man.
yes. His son is back. Tommy.
Yeah.
He's at the country club now.
Is he?
He's helped.
He
Mm-hmm.
said, "You're Mr. Sherman." I said, "Yes, I am." And you're who? Tom Dawson. Oh,
Yes. Now, was Doak older than you, or was
Yeah.
he about you? Oh, okay.
he's a couple years older than me.
Okay.
He-
Okay.
I think Doak might have been. He may have been more than that. No, I don't think so. He's a couple years older than me. He played basketball at SEMO, I think. And I think
Yep.
he might have played a little football, but I'm not sure. But he's a good
Okay.
man. He's a good
Yes.
friend.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, was Mr. Prade? Was he younger than you, or was?
Yeah, he was, when he had his 90th birthday party, I went to the party. I walked in and he said, well, at least I'm not the oldest man here. I'm 8 months, I was 8 months older than him. I think
Oh, I didn't know that. Now, Mr. Sullivan, he was a little bit younger than y'all, right?
yes,
Four
he
or 5 years,
was.
probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was probably 3, maybe 4 years younger. Joanne
Yeah.
might have
Yeah.
been another year younger. I don't know.
Yeah.
They were a good
Yeah.
couple.
Oh gosh, I wish I told my wife Erin and some others. I wish that I would have gotten Mr. Prade like on this, and then I wish I would have had Mr. and Miss Sullivan. It just I didn't start it soon enough. It's just one of those things. I wish I would have gotten them. They were such fine people. Gosh, dog it.
Go by there. Not every week, but as it got worse, I'd go by and spend 30, 40 minutes with them.
Mm-hmm.
They were good
Mm-hmm.
people, awful good people.
Oh, and they were from where were they from originally?
Well, he's from Hayti and she's from Jonesboro, outside of Jonesboro, Arkansas. They
I knew
both
they
went
both went
to Arkansas
to.
State.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what I thought they had done. And I remember Mr. Sullivan. We always told the story of Mr. Sullivan when he would teach us in biology that if we wanted to, if he was ready to give us homework, we'd ask him to tell us a story about Elvis Presley, and that'd get him sidetracked.
Oh, no. Listen, and that patch behind the board office when we first got there,
Yes.
that, they wanted they're trying to get it torn down. They wanted to clean it up. Murray didn't want it, and he'd come to me, Roger, they're talking again. I had to go talk with him. And finally got down to where Murray came in one day and said, I guess I got to let it go. Said, it's so bad now, I can't stand it. But that's the way it was. That's
It
the
was
way
like a greenhouse or something back there, wasn't it? Isn't that what it
worse than
was?
that. Yeah, it was a
Oh,
greenhouse. And see, I forget what kind of birds it was that began to flock in there.
oh gosh.
And we had to do that. We had to get it out. And boy, he hated that. He
D-
was a, he was
D-
a different guy, but a nice fellow.
Unbelievable.
And
Unbelievable.
Asa was
What?
the same way. Asa
Yes.
Gentleman.
I saw him. Um, I guess it was at Miss Sullivan's funeral,
Yeah,
or no, either hers or his. I saw Asa there, Mr.
he
Kinnaman
was at
there. Sure
both of
did.
them. He was at
Yep.
both. And
Yep. Yep.
Ace come by the house. I hadn't seen him in a little while. I guess since he came by after the funeral, I think. I
Uh
hadn't seen him
huh.
in a little while. But he sat down in the chair and he said, now you got to look at me when you talk to me because I can't hear. I said, well, I know that, Ace. He said, he's lost, he's lost, I don't know how many pair of hearing aids. Some of them he throw away. He said,
Oh my. Yes. Now, doesn't he live over toward like Bloomfield or somewhere?
well, he did, but he moved to Cape now, I mean to Jackson to a nursing home.
Oh.
His wife's
Oh.
afflicted with that Alzheimer's. And I, I'd go up there and pick berries or fruit, and I'd go up
Yes.
early in the morning.
Yes.
I've had him come running out there sometimes in his shorts or with a bone in his mouth, chewing on something. Oh, he's something.
He he thought he's going, or you thought he thought he's going to have to run you off. I guess he didn't know who it was come running out there.
Oh, he just come out. He'd see my car. He'd know who it was.
Oh.
He knows,
Oh.
but he wouldn't get up. Sometimes. I said, I still got to go to the office. I still had, but he was a good man. Or he is a good man.
Yes.
They were a funny couple.
Yes.
He had his place here on Saturday. He'd sell stuff, and on Thursday he sold over to Bloomfield, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
He was something else.
Mm-hmm. 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 Mr. Sherman, is there anything that about your time with the school or anything like that that I've missed? I know we kind of touched on a little bit of everything. Is there anything that um,
So grateful to be here. They were good to me. This community's been good to my family and me. Our
yes,
kids had
sir.
a good education. Laura and I, we just had a good life here. In
Yes,
fact,
sir.
we bought lots out by Southwest School, and four of them. And then a few years later, while the veteran cemetery came uh, started, and I asked her one day. I said, they got that veteran cemetery. Should we consider that? Took her a long time to answer me, about 30 seconds. She said, no. This is where we raised our kids. This is our family. This is where we are. I said, well, I agree with you, and that's it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, this I have nothing but positive things to say.
It besides like the field house, was there anything that you helped build that most people might not know? I mean, were you involved in the new high school building of that, or was that already there?
We finished. They finished it just before Christmas, so we moved out there the first year I was here. I
Okay.
had not the original. Now the rest of it, you had to know Mr. Twitty, but we'd all talk about different things. And
Mm-hmm.
what's that? Of course, they used to kid me a little bit. Said, and Sam did. Hartman said that. Said
Uh,
he say that. Said I was I was Mr. Twitty's favorite. And I said, well, heck, he'd known me all my life.
right. Right. If this is an interesting question that I kind of came up. I saw if someone came to you and say they were early to mid 20s and they were married or getting ready to get married and start a family, and they said, Mr. Sherman, you've built a good life here and you have quite a legacy here. How would you? And they said, how do I build a good life here? What advice would you give to somebody like that?
Start with, I guess, what I've used as earlier in the conversation here. You got to be true to yourself, and then you have to be true to the lady that you're going to marry or you're married to, and you have to be honest with yourself. That's
Mm-hmm.
you're going to make mistakes, you know that, and when you make them, buddy, don't try to lie out of them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've
Mm-hmm.
said that. I've said that a lot of times to people, the young kids.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that you just have to be honest with yourself, and that sometimes that's hard to do.
Yeah. Do you still encourage people to be involved in like community, like the Kiwanis and stuff like that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I think that's what makes your community. The people getting involved, and it worries me sometimes a little bit. And I say worries me. That's not a good word. I just that it kind of concerns me that people don't realize just how important it still is to be a part of, and not just the phone or the television.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
that you know you know, you go to the coffee. I go to the coffee shop about once a week. That's about all I can handle with that. Sometimes I'll go twice because I go on Saturday. Something. But as I told them, sometimes you don't know anything going in and no less coming out. But still see
Yes.
people, and you just have to listen and make your comments and go on down the road.
Right. Right. Now, where do you go for coffee?
Well, I go to Red Kirby's maybe one day a week, and then sometimes I don't go to Red Kirby's. I go to Susie's. There's a couple
Yeah.
of, and then on Saturday morning, if I go anywhere, I go to Red Kirby's. I
Okay.
used to go out to both, but
Uh-huh.
in those days, excuse me, in those days there was about 20 of us that were retired, and we'd meet out there. Some of them go every day. I couldn't do that, but I'd go 2 or 3 times a week out there. that was Harbin, one of them, and oh gosh, can't think of all of them. All the guys,
Mm-hmm.
two guys from Eastbury drive over, a couple of guys from Charleston would come over. We'd have about 20 of us there, and there'd be a lot of hot air, but we all knew each other. And that's the way it was.
Didn't your dad have the Romeo Club, the retired old men eat out?
Do what now?
Matt's dad and them used to meet at Jay's, and they had what was called the Romeo Club, retired old men eat out.
Well,
Kind of what it,
we probably had something. I don't know what they called it, but
I think that's what they call it there.
Yeah, they called it the Romeo Club. The retired old men eat out. That's what they
Yeah.
called it. But you could have called it the Windy Club too, because they were telling a lot of stories there for sure.
yes,
And they weren't all true.
no, 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 and a lot of them were exaggerated.
That's a good word. I was thinking a different word, but exaggerate's probably the better word to use for that.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Embellished.
You're talking
Embellished.
slow now.
They did embellish. They did embellish.
Oh gosh.
Well, Mr. Sherman, I've got one last question for you. And if you can't think of anybody, that's okay. I just want to pose this to you. Micah and I do this every week, and we try to bring people on to help us, again, remember the past, talk about where our town is, where we're going, and kind of all those things. Would you have a recommendation of somebody we might bring on here to talk with them about this so we can have it down? Would that?
Blair, I don't know whether Blair.
He would be fantastic. Yes, sir. I do know Blair.
I've been to Charleston with him, 2 or 3 things that they do over there. We went over there to their 100th anniversary at the Kiwanis Club. Was it 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago?
Okay.
I hadn't seen him in a long time. But Blair gets around. He's active in the American Legion. He
Yes.
helps people. He's a good man, I think. He's full of he's full of manure sometimes.
That's all right. That's all right. That's what makes the world go round.
Sure is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh my gosh, Mr. Sherman, we have enjoyed this immensely. You have given us a lot of things that have talked about the history of our town that I think it's important for those that don't know about it to understand. Those folks help us get here, and the foundations that you laid, again, the new high school with the field house, the central office. You said you're the first one in there.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
There's one other place that has been very valuable to us, in my view, is that recreational complex.
You were involved in that too, weren't you?
Yes, I was, but that was we when we built that thing, that really helped us in a lot of ways.
Yes.
A lot of ways. You're talking about a gathering place. It was
Yes. Were
Yes.
you? How were you involved in that?
Oh, I was on the committee. I was
On the park board or whatever?
Oh, I was on the planning committee and I was on the park board too one time, chairman at one time. No, the city manager was real good with it. Can't think of his name now. Our first city manager, he was a good one.
That would have been, was that in the 70s probably when that was built? Or 80s?
It was probably in the 70s.
Yeah. I was trying to remember. That'd probably be right around then. Oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
That was really it was an asset to our community in a lot of ways.
I wonder.
Well, I didn't mean to bring up any more, but I
No.
Oh,
I drive through that
Well-
thing. Oh,
Was that Mr. Church? Was that Charlie Church? Was that Charlie Church
no,
or Charles Church?
this was the first one.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay.
And then he worked. He quit that later and worked for McMullen, was it? I think
Maybe.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
But
No, you.
that was really nice. That's been a real asset.
Yes, it has. It really has.
Yeah.
That's for sure. That's for sure. So you were you involved in building the school over off Salcedo Road too?
Well,
The
Bob was here then.
yeah.
The guy that was principal there, so we were good friends.
Uh,
He was from downtown. I used to kid him. He's from downtown East Prairie, but he wasn't. But he
was that Mr. Graham? Was that
no,
Jim Graham? What Mr.
no.
Graham?
Jim came here from Oklahoma.
I didn't know that. He was principal at the middle school.
He was assistant principal here. Larry.
Oh yeah.
Well, see, when he came to town, when we came to town, we lived on Wayne Street. We bought a little house on Wayne Street. Had some awful nice neighbors. And Jimmy Graham moved in there a couple of years after we came here. He came here. Yeah, he's a good man.
Uh huh.
I
Uh
always-
huh.
Yeah, yeah.
Was the city manager's name Raymond Miller?
Raymond Miller. That's right. Raymond Miller. Yeah, that's who it was.
Okay.
And he did a
There you
good
go,
job.
Micah.
He did a good job, I thought.
That. Yeah. Yeah. Well, heck, that was a big deal. Well, let me ask you this. Heck, you're involved in everything else. Were you involved in the power plant being built here?
Well, not really involved in it. It's kind of funny that you mentioned that. What was the man's name? The retired.
Was that Dick Inman?
No, no.
He ran that for a while.
Yeah, he did, but
Mm-hmm.
and was managing. He was mayor at one time, I think, but I can't think of his name. Anyway, we had our one North Central evaluation at the school, and they were just building that, so we went out and took pictures of it. They had the concrete poured, and they were starting to build a power plant. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, that was quite an endeavor too.
Oh gosh, that has been one of the key factors for our town, keeping our electric rates low and bringing in industry and all that stuff. That was a big deal.
Yes.
A lot of guys with the foresight with stuff like that.
Yeah. His name had his boys in school. I can't even think of their name. Zaracor. No, it wasn't.
Oh,
That wasn't Zaracor.
there's
But
okay.
he was the power plant. He was Tony Zaracor.
Yeah.
But
There's some
it wasn't him.
there's-
It was neighborhood. Yeah.
there's a Zaracor that works for our bank in Farmington that's from here. His name's Mike Zaracor. Yeah.
I think I had Mike school. I think I'm right.
I think that's right. Yes, sir. I think that's right. Yes, sir.
But Mike, I was thinking Mike was a doctor.
There's another one, and I can't think of his name that I think is a doctor, but I'm not sure.
He died. He's dead now. Mike is. His sister still lives here. She taught for us for years.
Okay. Well, you have quite a legacy. You've touched a bunch of lives, Mr. Sherman. I can tell you.
Well, they're good to me. That's all I can say. People are good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, it has been our pleasure for you to take your time and talk with us. It's an honor and our pleasure. Thank you for doing that. You have not. You have given us.
I've
Go ahead,
learned a
Micah.
lot tonight. I'm not original to Sikeston. I'm from Charleston, so I've learned quite a bit of history. About Sikeston schools.
Two or three guys there from Charleston. You didn't know her. You didn't know Herb Marshall, did you?
I knew. Yeah.
Well, that's important. And down like
Who's that?
Those coaches and teachers, I knew a lot of them. But
Yeah. Well,
we fought on
Alfred.
Friday night and Tuesday and Friday in the basketball season, sometimes we'd fight. But other than that, we're good friends.
I know what I was going to ask you. Go ahead, Micah. I got one more question for Mr. Sherman.
I was going to talking along the lines of the football and Charleston and Sikeston and stuff like that. I've kind of the last couple of years I've thought about, like, since we've started this, of like who would be a good to come on to kind of talk about that history. One from Charleston, one from Sikeston. I mean, like, do you have any idea who would be able to talk about that?
The football history you're talking about?
Yeah, yeah,
Well, the thing about it is most of them are gone. But,
yeah. That's
yeah,
Yeah.
because listen,
Al-
the years ago,
Alfred
that was
Marshall would be the one that I would think of. I mean,
yeah. But that in those days, back before I came here, the Charleston Sikeston football game that was the theater of the year almost, and that's what it was. Well, you had one more question of me.
I did. I was just, I had it written down and I just about forgot it. Were you principal the last year that Sikeston played Scott Central in basketball and wasn't there a to-do? I'm going to put you on the spot, Mr. Sherman. What was that about? Do you recall?
Yeah, I kind of do. I wasn't principal, but it was. It was. I forget the fight. There was a fight, I believe. And
That's what I understood.
it got nasty, and we got it settled. But that was the last year we played them. We played them one more time, I think, up at the college. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that was 2000. I think we played them 2009 and 2010, or 2010 and 11, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
But it wasn't the teams fighting though, correct?
no, it was the fans. As I remember, I think that's right. We had to break up some. Had to put some people on the bus too. But we didn't have much of that. We'd have a little every once in a while, but
Yeah.
I've gone in the stands a couple, 3 times after people, not after them, but to settle them down.
Right. Right.
But we've always, to my knowledge, now some of them are not exactly true, but we've always gotten along well. The administrators and the teachers here, when they put the cards on the table, they knew how to play them. We played them together, and
Right. That's right.
yeah, we did.
I couldn't recall who I thought you might have been principal during that, because I remember that was the talk even as kids when I was in school. It's like, why don't we play Scott Central? And all I had heard about was I thought for the longest time it was the teams fighting, but it was not the teams fighting.
So I don't think it was a team. I think it was the parents got in. Some rabble rousers got into it. That's what I remember. But that's a long time ago.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, much of that we'd had a couple of times Papa Bluff had to do some things. One night we're in a tournament over there and we're leaving. Now I'm extending you too much.
No, you're not at all.
no, you're good.
We were ready to leave, and I knew the principal, the coach, and the assistant principal over there pretty well. The coach was, he's a pain in the neck, but he's John Gibbs. Gibbs was up there with the tournament. Our kids, I saw McKeel and Gibbs sitting up there, and I walked up there and said, "Well, are you guys doing all right?" And just chattering with them. I saw our kids come out. I was principal then, and McKeel and I were good friends. And coming out, I said, "Well, fellas, I got to go. Our team's leaving." Took a couple steps and finally turned around and looked at him. I said, "Gibbs, have you got 6-pack signed for next year to referee?" And he cursed me.
Oh,
6-pack Pierce. That's what we call it.
is that right?
Oh, gosh. Oh, well, I've worn you out.
You have not. You have not, Mr. Sherman. I thank you for the stories, for the history, for the knowledge, and for the foundation that you've laid for our school and for our town, for the
My family.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. For the example that you've shown us how we should interact with our folks and help our town. Not just the town's good for us, but we have to be good for our town, right? We have to give back. Yeah.
It's a two-way street. You must
Yes,
know
sir.
that, I don't think.
Yes, sir. I agree with you. I agree.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
You didn't, Mr. Sherman. We always end our show with "Go Dogs," and so you are.
Micah Harris.
I'm Matt Tanner. Mr. Sherman. Yes, sir. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
Okay. Go.
Thank you.
Always holler that.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Good night.